Russian Football League is very much on. But today's edition is quite unique because we're going to devote the first part of the program to the league, and we're not going to have the usual take where we have different experts of the various leagues come to talk about the various leagues. Myself and my partner in the studio right now, whom you won't get to meet at very soon, we'll be talking over talking through the various leagues as we try to do a fast job in terms of going all through all the leagues that have matches for this weekend, because we have a countdown to the African Cup of Nations, which starts tomorrow. It's a very big one as far as we Africans are concerned, so we have to accord it the right priority, even if the rest of the world is trying to undermine it by various actions, which has seen, especially the antics by European clubs in refusing to release some key players to compete, to play for their national teams. But then we on our part, we're going to give the AFCON the respect it deserves by devoting the second part of this program to the countdown to AFCON, which starts tomorrow in Cameroon. So that's what we have for you for today. So sit back and enjoy yourself as we will ensure that we spice off your Saturday with the very best of sports, especially football. Joining me on the program, like I said earlier, is Austin Arome. Austin, you're going to wear many caps today, not just double caps, because you know I usually have it in the program where we have experts come to talk about different leagues, but they're going to just cross through all the various leagues as we try to do a fast job on it so that we can go straight to talk about the AFCON. So, Austin, you're welcome to the program.
It's good to be here on the show.
We'll kickstart after the short break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the World League Show, and we'll start today with the Italian Serie A, which is our first point of call, and we have quite a number of interesting fixtures for today. AC Milan, who did a good job within the week, I think on Wednesday, when they prevailed Roma by 3-1 to keep their hopes of winning the league alive, will be away to Venezia tomorrow precisely, and we also have other matches that will see Cagliari host Bologna. Empoli, who are doing so well for me this season, they'll be at home to Sassuolo. Torino will entertain Fiorentina. And Napoli will be up against, tomorrow, Napoli will be up against Sampdoria. Udinese will host Atlanta. Genoa will be at home to Spezia. Roma and Juventus will square up again. Roma, another big match for them after the midweek clash with AC Milan. This time they'll be at home to another big side, Juventus, who themselves are not doing too well this season. Verona will be up against Nitana, who are battling for their survival in the league. And Inter Milan, the runaway, the leaders, the winter champions, will be at home to Lazio. Inter did not get to play during the week because their match was postponed because of coronavirus issues. But then they'll get to be in action tomorrow, hopefully. This is the lineup for today, and beginning for this weekend, and all the matches will play tomorrow. AC Milan, Venezia. AC Milan, the way they started this second part of the league, they seem to mean business, going by the way they played against Roma on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think for me, I believe it's time for Milan, to, maintain that consistency, up their consistency. Last season, they faltered along the line, having started the season so well. They dropped, I think, to third or fourth, thereabouts. Managed to qualify for the Champions League, and this time around, I believe, from the experience they were able to garner from last season, I think that experience has actually is what has been pushing them, and with the experience of players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, what this guy can do on his day, even when he's very close to 40. You have the likes of Olivier Giroud, who has continued to defy the odds. It shows that Milan generally they're they're prepared in a way, to tackle the challenges of this season. Having the likes of Frank Kessie, who is their anchor midfielder. I think generally Milan has been impressive. For me, apart from the fact that they were knocked out of the Champions League, at one stage in time, it would be disappointing. But then I think it's part of the learning curve for these mixed AC Milan team. Couple of young players and then experienced guys in the team.
Venezia, the opponent, did not get to play within the week because their match against Salernitana was postponed.
Yeah.
So would it be an advantage for AC Milan because they should be very much more in game mood, having started the second part of the season? But Venezia are yet to kick a ball in the second round of the season. So would that be a factor in deciding the outcome of the match?
Well, I think it would be a factor. It would be a factor when you have a league. Like the Italian Serie A, being consistent in the key. Consistent in the sense that you have to be in that game mode, in that in that line that you are in the middle of the season, and when there is a distraction or when there is a break, there tend to be a drop off in your performance. There tend to be a drop off in your form, and for a team like Venezia, who is going to play against AC Milan, they've been in action for quite some time now. So I think that will actually play that key role in the sense that Milan, they already know where to tackle their problems for. But for Venezia, it's going to be like they're starting the season once again, because of the fact that they've not been in action for over a while now, and they might actually be some of their key players might be in that should I say match rusty, so to say. So at the end of the day, I think it's an advantage for AC Milan, and the advantage, so to say, might not be on the part of Venezia.
Cagliari will play Bologna. Yeah. They had a very good result in midweek. They went to Sampdoria to beat Sampdoria by 2-1. Cagliari, showing that probably this second round of the season they are in for action. But Bologna did not get to play because the match against Milan was postponed. So Cagliari, you can say they're on the driving seat in this one.
Definitely. Apart from the fact that they got the result the last time around, they are playing at home, and even though you can say that these days there's no home and away in football anymore, but I trust Cagliari to take charge of this game. Also owing to the fact that Bologna too, they've not been that consistent, that consistency that you expect of a side playing in the Italian Serie A. So I think it's advantage to Cagliari in this particular game.
Empoli, for me, is a team that has done so well this season. Yeah. They were held to a 3-3 draw by Lazio in Rome in a midweek, and they led twice in that match. Lazio actually survived by scoring a late goal. So, and before that match, they've done so well in the first part of the season, and today they will be at home to Sassuolo. So an opportunity for Empoli to continue their good run.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for them, but when I look at this Sassuolo team, I believe Sassuolo is one team that can be stubborn at times. When they are in form, they are hard not to crack. And for me, it's one of those games where it's difficult to actually predict. With what I've seen of Sassuolo so far this season. But it promises to be an exciting one. Whenever Sassuolo is involved, that you're bound to see goals, and it's going to be goals all the way. If you ask me.
Yeah, Torino takes on Fiorentina. Both sides did not get to play in midweek. Torino's match against Atlanta was postponed because of the coronavirus issues, and Fiorentina's match against Udinese also suffered the same fate. So both sides coming on the back of not being in action. So you could see a level playing field for both sides. Yeah,
definitely. I see a level playing field for both sides. Both sides, I think, they've gone pretty well this season. Torino pretty much battled with relegation last season, and I think they came back this season, looking to avoid a repeat of what happened last season, and this is what they've been able to do so far. Staying away from that relegation battle. And for Fiorentina as well, they have an informed striker, Vlahovic, and it's been one of a revelation, if you ask me, this season, and what he's done with this team. I believe he has that threat, to punish Torino. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a tough one for both sides. And just like you said, they are coming back from that break, and it's a level playing field. So I believe anything can actually happen in this particular game.
By the way, you can follow us live on YouTube, on this college program live on YouTube, Grande Sports. So, and just follow us live, because this program is one program that we show is to enlighten you on what's happening in the various leagues across the world. We're doing incisive analysis of all the matches to get you in the mood to prepare for what to expect later on in the day. So once again, follow us live on YouTube, Grande Sports, and enjoy the very best of sports analysis on sports around the world. So still continue on the program. Napoli will be at home to Sampdoria. Napoli had a 1-1 draw against Juventus in Turin on Wednesday, and a good result in view of the fact that it kept their chance of winning the title alive.
Yeah.
They'll be at home today to Sampdoria. Sampdoria lost at home to Cagliari. Could say that was a surprising result, but then this is an opportunity for them to bounce back. But against Napoli at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium, that will be an Herculean task, if you ask me.
Definitely. I think Napoli will be coming into this game with the mindset of, a wounded lion. That's what I expect from them, with the caliber of players that they have, even though Victor Osimhen is not, with the team
and
right now.
And they're still going to miss the likes of Nguisa.
Yeah,
Kalilu Koulibaly.
So it's going to be a difficult one, but I still believe, they have enough firepower, to actually, win this game. But all the same, I think is an opportunity to bounce back for Sampdoria, and that is one dangerous aspect of the game. The fact that Sampdoria will be coming into this game looking back, looking forward to bounce back from the previous defeat against Cagliari. It's a very tricky one, if you ask me. But I believe Napoli has what it takes to beat these guys. With the likes of Insigne, with the likes of Lozano. These guys are actually good enough, even without Osimhen and Nguisa and the likes of Koulibaly being in the team. So I expect a win from Napoli in this game.
Udinese and Atlanta did not get to play on Wednesday because their matches were postponed. Yeah. But today they hopefully will be in action. So opportunity for them to get a feel of a second round of action in the league.
Well, I think it's an opportunity for these guys. Atlanta, for me, they've not been playing too well. Losing games, you expect them to win, and quite a disappointing one. Atlanta, I think third on the table, but this is not where I feel they should be. I feel they should be competing with the likes of Inter. Having been so consistent in the last 3 or 4 seasons or thereabouts. So I expect them to take it to another level, but that's not happening. I think in their last 3 games also they've dropped too many points. Which is why I believe they are third on the log. If not, I think where they should be now, it should be maybe between second, also or the top of the table.
They're not too far off from the expected position anyway. But then Roma takes on Juventus. Roma opened the bounce back from a 3-1 loss to AC Milan, and they have Juventus.
Well, tricky one if you ask me. Roma, on the back of that result against AC Milan, they also be looking to bounce back. More especially the fact that Juventus are not playing at their best.
They had
the draw against Napoli. Apart from that, most of those matches where they tend to win, it seems like they struggle to get the results. And this is not what we are used to seeing of Juventus. So this game I expect to be quite a difficult team for them. The fact that they have Mourinho in charge, and Mourinho will be coming into this game looking at making a point, because Juventus, for me, they are still the team to beat as far as the Serie A is concerned, even though they are not having the best of time right now. I think it will actually give him that bragging right, something I know he loves so much, getting that right, bragging right over your opponent. And I expect an upset. Roma winning Juventus should be an upset, but nothing surprised me anymore as far as Juventus is concerned this season. So I expect Roma to win this particular game.
Inter Milan, defending champions, still topping the table. They'll have opportunity to consolidate their lead, despite having a game in hand against Lazio today. Lazio not been too impressive. Had a 3-2 draw against Empoli. at home last week. So how do you see this one?
Well, tricky one. I think it's a tricky one for me. Lazio are playing against their former manager, who was in charge of the team at one point, Inzaghi. Yeah, so Inzaghi was in charge of. He was in charge of that team at one point in time. So I believe he knows the team so well. And looking at Napoli, looking at Lazio as well. They'll be coming into this game, just like I said, to get, that bragging right, to get, one over their former coach. We want to prove to you that, we can actually, hold our own against your guys. And it's going to be a very good one. And it's going to be interesting how he's going to play against his former side. I believe he has done so well with this Inter side. Nobody believed they'll be here at this point, coupled because of the fact that he lost their main striker in Romelu Lukaku, but then they've been able to bring in Edin Dzeko, and Edin Dzeko is doing a marvelous job with this team. And I think kudos should go to Inzaghi for how he has been able to manage this team, despite the fact that they lost some of these guys at the end of the day.
In other matches, Genoa will be up against Spezia, while Verona will host Salernitana, who are fighting for their life and fighting for survival as they occupy the last position on the league table. Now, talking about the league table, Inter Milan, we've said it time without number, time over and over again. They are topping with 46 points. AC Milan just 1 point behind with 45 points. Napoli, okay, 40 points. Well, Atlanta is actually are fourth, not third. They have 38 points. But they all have a game in hand as against Napoli. So should Atlanta win their game in hand, they should move back to third position. Yeah. Juventus is fifth, Fiorentina sixth, and Roma seventh. While down the table, like I said earlier, Salernitana occupy the last position. They just have a mere 8 points from 18 matches. Genoa with 12 points, Cagliari with 13 points make up the last three on the table. And for Cagliari, that result against Sampdoria was a good one. The bidding on that could see them move out of this relegation zone. Right. Because going away to winning in Sampdoria is a very, very impressive one, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think it's an impressive one for Cagliari, but it remains to be seen what that can do for them. They have their own fate in their hands right now. If they can actually avert this as early as possible, I think they can, move out of that relegation zone and, forget about the fact that, they are in that position right now. Cagliari, they have what it takes, to be maybe in 14th, 13th position. But at the end of the day, competition, as far as I'm concerned, in the Italian league this season is, very, very tough. You see teams like Torino who were in that, mix last season. Though they are not far away, but I think it's safe to say that at this point in time, they are, on a steady rise, for Torino, and you have the likes of Sampdoria, Udinese, all these teams not used to being in this position, but we have them there right now. So it's going to be a tough battle for the soul of the teams, in that zone at the end of the day. But I expect Cagliari to be in the Italian Serie A, come next season at the end of the day.
So Inter Milan still holding sway at the top for the 6 points. So remains to be seen how long they remain there, because it's a slim lead. AC Milan has 45 points. So despite Inter having a game in hand, so it's still very close. Even Juventus that is fifth, is just 2 points behind the fourth place Atlanta. So it's still very close up there. So quite a lot to play for. The season still has a long way to go. And let's see how it all pans on the end of the day. Talking about the top scorers, you mentioned Vlahovic of Fiorentina having a very good season. He has 16 goals, tops the goal scorers chart in Italy. Ciro Immobile just returned from injury. He scored in the match against Empoli in midweek. He has 14 goals, while Giovanni Simeone of Verona has 12 goals. Lautaro Martinez of Inter has 11 goals, while Berardi of Sassuolo has 9 goals. So Vlahovic is the revelation of the season. Fine. From last season, he has been doing it, but this season is actually taking it to another level, scoring repeatedly and consistently. He's in the radar of most of the big teams in the world now. Arsenal are even interested in him, and that's not surprising. but then he's sure a proven goal scorer since he has been consistent from the last 2 or 3 seasons lately.
Yeah, I think so. I think what he's been able to do this season is to transform, from what we saw of him last season. He scored more goals this season than he scored in his entire career, and it's just half of the season. I expect more to come from him. Just like you said, the fact that he was among the goal scoring chart last season, also shows that consistency. And one surprising thing about him this season is that he's doing that with Fiorentina, who are not having a good season. He shows that he's making that extra effort, making sure that the team is safe at the end of the day. And it's so strange, or should I say, I'm quite surprised that they allowed him to run down his contract up to this very moment. It just has a few months left on his contract, and at the end of the day, at the end of the season, he's going to be a free agent, which is quite disappointing for Fiorentina, a team that is actually in need of a player.
Transfer window is still on, so never can tell. Before the end of January, they decide to cash in on him. And so I understand, like I said earlier, that the number of clubs, including Arsenal, has been mentioned. Other big clubs are actually interested in his services. Well, we'll leave it at that. So much about Italian Serie A. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we have more for you on the World League show as we go to Spain to talk about the La Liga matches for this weekend. Stay with us. And just to remind you, you can follow us live on YouTube, Grande Sports, and enjoy the very best of sport analysis on this program, the World League Show. Next, we'll talk about the Spanish La Liga. Matches for today shows that Levante will entertain Mallorca, Real Sociedad will be at home to Celta Vigo, Granada will host Barcelona, Real Madrid will be at home to Valencia. Tomorrow, Rayo Vallecano will be host to Real Betis, Getafe will be the guest of Sevilla, Alaves will entertain Atletico Bilbao, Osasuna will be at home to Cadiz, Villarreal will host Atletico Madrid, while on Monday, Espanyol will be at home to Elche. So, Austin is still here with us and going to talk us through the Spanish La Liga as well. Levante and Mallorca. Levante lost scandalously on Monday when they lost 5-0 to Villarreal, and they will be at home today to Mallorca. Mallorca lost at home to Barcelona, respectable 1-0 loss, but they were all losses, if you ask me. So two sides coming to this match in the back of losses. One scandalous one, if you ask me, the other one a more respectable one.
Yeah.
But then, both sides will be looking to bounce back.
Definitely, apart from looking to bounce back, I think Mallorca, they are ahead of Levante as far as the league standing is concerned. And when you look at it, they are looking to reduce the gap between them to 9 points. So if they can actually win this game, I think it will be a good one for them. But at the end of the match, if they lose this particular game, I think it will actually be 3 games losing streak for them, which is something they'll want to avoid. And Mallorca, are already on their own run. 3 consecutive defeats for Mallorca at the end of the day. 9 consecutive away match with at least 1 goal conceded. If in the last 9 matches, they've conceded at least 1 goal, which is quite abysmal if you are a team like Mallorca, who is actually trying to establish you're trying to establish your stay in the Spanish La Liga. It will be disappointing, but at the end of the day, these 2 teams, I believe, will be fighting for the soul of their team. Fighting, looking to bounce back, from defeat. And as far as form is concerned, I think these 2 teams, they are evenly matched, even though Mallorca are ahead of Levante at this point in the season.
Real Sociedad will be up against Celta Vigo. Sociedad had a 1-1 draw with Alaves last week on Wednesday, and last weekend actually. Yeah. And Celta Vigo won 2-0 away to Real Betis. Real Betis is one of the teams that are doing well this season, so that was a very big result for Celta Vigo. Yeah. It should be a reflection of what they plan to do this second round of the season. But for Real Sociedad, one point I want to stress is that they normally start the season very well, and true to type, they have started faltering again. They have dropped from being first, then second on the table, to 7th. The same story every year. Why is it? But again, in this match against Celta Vigo, they have an opportunity to bounce back, if you ask me.
Well, I think these 2 teams, they have contrasting in the opposite way. For Celta Vigo, I think it's an opportunity for them to go on the 3 match winning streak, and for Real Sociedad, it's been pretty much the same story for them. We talked about them last season, having started the season so well. It got to one point, they started dropping off, dropping, important points, and more especially in matches you expect them to win. And this season it's pretty much the same thing. I think it's 3 consecutive home defeat for them this season. They are playing at home, and for a side like Celta Vigo, who are also on the run, and with the way they play, you expect them to go at Real Sociedad. And if they are not careful in this game, I expect them to drop points, once again. But they need to up their game. I know they have what it takes, with the likes of Isaac, Alexandra Isak in the team, Oyarzabal, David Silva, all these guys.
So Oyarzabal back from injury. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they're not doing too well.
I think it's one of the reasons why they are in this point, they are in this position that they are. But with what they have, I still believe that they can actually maintain that momentum a little bit. Most especially against teams that you expect them to win. If they're losing against teams like Sevilla, against teams like Real Madrid, against teams like even Real Betis, you understand. But when you start losing games to teams who are at the lower realm of the league, it means that something is wrong with your team, and you are not fully prepared for that title push that everybody is looking forward to. We need the league to be competitive, and we need teams like Real Sociedad to keep that that pressure on Real Madrid and Sevilla, who seems to be running away from every other team in the league at the moment.
Yeah, Granada will be up against Barcelona. Barcelona seem to have gotten back their mojo, if I may use that word. They beat Mallorca 1-0 away from home last week. And surprisingly, they are 5th on the table. I was asking myself, how did they get there? Well, that's the reality. They are 5th on the table. And they are away today again to Granada. Granada also in a good run of form. They drew with Elche. They played away from home against Elche and drew last weekend. And they are 13th on the table, not too far off the pace. If you ask me, at least they are the mid-table, and they could actually sneak into the Confederations Cup position at any point in time. Anyway, they'll be at home to Barcelona, a Barcelona side that is looking to continue on this good run.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty much interesting game. These 2 sides, Granada, they've not done badly against Barcelona. I think in their record, head-to-head, they are still locked in there. They played 5 times, 2 wins for Barcelona, a draw, and 2 wins for Granada. So I think Barcelona should actually expect a very, very tough game. And with the way this Granada team have started playing, right from last season, You saw how they played, I think, in the Europa League, and they've been able to, maintain that consistency and back up for
But
me.
surprisingly, it didn't start too well this season. But
Yeah.
I'm even surprised to see them 13 on the table already.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show that they've actually addressed whatever issues they had at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I think they've addressed that, and I believe for anyone who wants to play Barcelona, this might actually be the right time, to play them.
Really?
In the sense that they are struggling to win matches. Even though they won their last game, I think a lone goal, and for a team like
Daniel
Garanda,
Alves is back playing.
Daniel Alves is
Ferran
back.
Torres. So they're getting stronger.
Ferran Torres,
And some players are coming back from injury.
Yeah, Barca has not been able to register Ferran Torres,
Yeah,
because of the whole weight issue. But for a team like Granada,
they flooded them Coutinho, so probably they should go to register him.
maybe after the whole contract has been sorted out with Coutinho, they can register Ferran Torres at the end of the day. But for now, I feel like Granada will be going into these games just like every other team in La Liga at the moment. That they'll feel like they have a chance against this present Barcelona team. No disrespect, Barcelona team right now, they have the quality, they have the players, but something seems to be very, very wrong with the team at the moment. But I think Xavi is gradually tackling that, and I expect a tough game overall. Granada against Barcelona, it promises to be an interesting game overall.
Real Madrid will be up against Valencia. I'm sure Real Madrid will bring themselves. How did they lose to Getafe? How did that happen to? And I didn't want that match. They would have actually been clear. I mean, put a gap between them and the other teams. But then they lost that match to Getafe, surprisingly, and they play against Valencia. Valencia to themselves did not do themselves too well. Too much of good when they lost at home to Espanyol last week. Yeah. So both sides coming on the back of losses. So you can say evenly match in terms of ambitions for this match.
I think so. I think one thing that I would say I'm impressed with this season is Valencia. Valencia last season, we know their story. They had to sell some key players to make sure that the books are balanced. But this season, after the whole reshuffling, they've been able to maintain their status, and they're playing really well against La Liga opposition. And for Real Madrid, I think that game against Getafe is a form of reality check for them. Sometimes when you're riding high, you need that sort of game to actually put your mind right, just to show you that you are not invincible. But so far this season, Real Madrid are still unbeaten at home. They've made that home a fortress, and I expect that to continue against a team like Valencia. And it's going to be an interesting one as well. Valencia coming into this game as the underdog, but I expect them to give Real Madrid a fight.
Yes, indeed. Rayo Vallecano will be at home to Real Betis. Vallecano, we know they are the giant-killing team of this season. They beat teams like Barcelona, and they brought some very good impressive results. But they lost last week to Atletico Madrid. But today they have opportunity of bouncing back when they host Real Betis at home. Real Betis too lost at home to Celta Vigo. So both sides again coming up on the back of losses. But given Rayo Vallecano's antecedents this season, I wouldn't expect something very interesting coming from them, because after all, they were stung last week by Atletico Madrid, and I'm sure that they'll fancy a chance against a Real Betis side who also lost at home last week to Celta Vigo.
Well, I hope that defeat against Atletico Madrid, should not bring an end to their, a fairy tale story. Yeah. Sometimes you see teams like that, go on a run, and in the middle of the season they start dropping points. I remember Hull City at one point in time when they came to England, they were taking everybody by surprise. I think that season they were beating most of the big teams. I think reality dawned on them, in the middle of the season. And I think in the second half of the season they were able to win just one match. It was that first round of that first stage of the league, the form they had then, that actually kept them in the league. And for teams like Real Vallecano, I hope is not going to be the case for them. I'm enjoying the kind of run, their fairy tale story at the moment. I hope, that doesn't end. And against a team like Real Betis, I don't think is actually the kind of match you will be expecting, you enjoy, playing, looking to bounce back. But then I believe that, it's going to be a tough one overall. I believe they'll come into this game looking to fight back, looking to bounce back. And then against this Real Betis team, a bunch of talented players, we talked about them. And we also talked about how, they've not been able to maintain that consistency when you have, players like Mark Batra, you have the likes of Christian Tello, Nabil Fakir of this world, all these guys, a bunch of talented players, but they've not hit that point yet where you say, okay, this team can actually compete. But on their day, I believe they can, beat anybody in the league.
Sevilla will be up at home to Getafe. Sevilla up there, being the team pushing Real Madrid. Yeah. They won against Cadiz 1-0 in midweek. And then they also Getafe that beat Real Madrid last week. So Getafe will be coming here with high optimism and confidence. Don't fully aware that they beat Real Madrid. So Sevilla too should be able to fall to them. Anyway, apart from the fact that they beat Real Madrid last week, I've been very impressed with them since they changed their coach. Yeah. They were bottom of the table at some point. Last, when I mean bottom, last. But now they've come up, they've had strings of results. I think since they changed their coach, they've hardly lost a match, probably draws and wins. And the ultimate, or the climax of it all was last week's win over Real Madrid. So, do you see them repeating it again against another big side in Sevilla?
Well, it's going to be a tricky one, I must say. When you look at the stats, the stats, does not really favor them against this Sevilla team. I think this Sevilla team they have the best defense in the league. So far as this season is concerned, they've considered just 13 goals, 4 less than Real Madrid has considered, and I don't see any team right now who can actually compete with them in terms of that record. It's their goal scoring record that's actually their problem, but they've been able to balance that. Sometimes Sevilla they don't get to score much, but their ability to hold onto that slim lead that they have is what makes this team pretty dangerous. And against Getafe, I expect Getafe to go all out, give them that fight. But Sevilla being the kind of team that I know, they know how to manage this kind of games pretty well, and I expect them, to win this game. Expect them to win and keep the pressure right there on Real Madrid. It's an opportunity for them to, win the league. With the problem that Barcelona has, they are not in that equation right now. Who knows? Probably Sevilla can actually, surprise everybody, just like we saw with Atletico Madrid last season, and win the league at the end of the season.
The big one for this weekend in La Liga is Villarreal versus Atletico Madrid. Villarreal on the back of a rich run of form, wins about 4 straight wins for Yakmi, but in Champions League and the league.
Yeah, I think it's about 6.
Last week, 5-0 demolition of Levante was followed prior by a 5-1 win. 5-2
against Alaves.
5-2 win against Alaves. Yeah. So they've been scoring goals, 10 goals in 2 matches. And then they host Atletico Madrid. You could say that this is a very good time for Villarreal to play Atletico, because Atletico themselves are not distinguished themselves so well this season. Yeah. Though they beat Rayo Vallecano 2-0 last season, but they've not maintained that consistency we knew of them last season. I mean, so Villarreal playing at home to Atletico Madrid on present form. This could be an opportunity for the Yellow Submarines to get one over their more illustrious opponent, if you ask me.
Definitely. I think ever since that game against Atlanta, the fortunes for Villarreal, has been in that upward movement, so to say. They won against, I think it was in the Copa del Rey match, they won 7-1 in that game. They won against teams like, I think it was Real Betis or thereabout. They won that game as well. And up to this very moment, they are winning. and scoring goals in the process as well. 7 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals, 2 goals, like that, which is something that has been their problem, since the beginning of the season. We talked about them, at the start of the season. It was pretty much them always, involved in a draw game, goalless. Sometimes they get to score, but they've not been able to put the ball at the back of the net, like the way they are doing right now. And I think Unai Emery has been able to solve that problem. At the way they are playing, I expect them to give Atletico Madrid a very tough fight. Just like you said, Atletico Madrid they've not been so consistent this season. Even last season when they won that trophy, there was a point at the point in the season where it became dicey. With the lead that they had, I think 10 points at one point in the season, you think that Atletico Madrid will run away with the league. But what happened? It had to go down to the last day of, the season. It scored the last minute goal. If not, Real Madrid would have won that league. And this is something that has continued for them this season. They have the quality, no doubt, but they have to manage their team. They have to be consistent, if they want to, defend their title this season. And against a team like Villarreal, who are in form, I believe it's going to be a difficult one, and it's going to be an interesting one all the same. And I expect to see how they are going to cope against this should I call them ravaging Villarreal, looking to devour any team they meet at the moment.
So well, but now they are somewhat devastating. Could it be to the return of Gerardo Moreno from injury? He didn't start the season, was injured. Yeah. Also was Chukwueze. Chukwueze, though now they'll miss Chukwueze again because he has left for the AFCON. Yeah. But then Moreno's return, he scored 2 goals in the last match against Levante, and he has been their top scorer in the last 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah. So could this be a coincidence that because he's back, that's why they're doing very well?
Well, I think I can actually attribute his return to the team, with that. Of the team, his return to the team has actually changed the fortune of the team, in terms of goal scoring. Just like you said, their top scorer in the last 2 or 3 seasons, and he was away for a period of time, and coming back, they're scoring this much. It shows that his return to the team has actually aided the team in terms of goal scoring. Last season, I think he scored well over 20 goals. He was all there. He was there throughout the season. Competing with the likes of Luis Suarez. And when you remove someone who can score 20 goals for you, I think it's going to be a problem for a team like Villarreal to actually cope with that. And it's good that he's back at the moment, and he's doing a good job for them. And Villarreal have actually benefited from his return to the team.
Atletico Madrid will definitely be without Trippier, who has moved to Newcastle. And will this affect the team? Well, it remains to be seen at the end of the day. But I'm sure that Atletico Madrid knows very well that if they could not do without him, they wouldn't have allowed him go at this point in time. So, Villarreal, Atletico Madrid, a match to look out for in La Liga. Other matches for this weekend that we'll not have much time to talk about: Alaves, Atletico Bilbao, Osasuna, Cadiz, and of course Espanyol versus Elche. Those completed. That match will be on Monday. That will be the last match for this weekend. Look at the league table. Real Madrid top with 46 points. Sevilla follow with 41 points, though they have a game in hand. Real Betis has 33 points. And Atletico Madrid 32, Barcelona 31 on 5th position. Rayo Vallecano stressing in 6th position on 30 points. There's this gap between the top 2, talking about Real and Sevilla, and the others. Of course, Real 46 points, Sevilla 41 points, then the next team, Real Betis 33 points. That's about almost 9 points difference. And can we say as early as this point that it's going to be between Sevilla and Real Madrid?
I think it's too early to say that. It's too early to say that. If there's anything that will actually give us that reminder, is that game against Real Madrid game against Getafe. Sometimes when you are in form and things goes wrong for you, it takes sometimes it takes time for you to actually bounce back. Sometimes you can bounce back immediately. If this Real Madrid team can actually bounce back, I think it's safe to say that it's going to be a long season for every other team in the season. Real Madrid, with Sevilla being the only team, pushing, making sure that they keep pressure, they keep pace with Real Madrid. I think it's going to be a long season overall, but I don't expect this season to end, end early, so to say. I expect it to go down, to the wire, more especially, with the way this Sevilla team are playing. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I expect the likes of Real Betis, to go on that run. I expect the likes of the Atletico Madrid as well, to go on that run. If they can maintain, consistency, I believe it's going to be a long season for all the teams as far as La Liga is concerned.
And at the bottom of the table, Levante occupied the last position, followed by Cadiz and Alaves. Those are the top last three teams. But then the interesting thing is that from the last 6 teams, talking about from the 15th position to the 20th position, there's not much difference in terms of points. It's just 2 points difference. 20 points for Mallorca, who are 15th on the table. Then 18 points for LHL, for Getafe, and who are 16th on the table. While Elche has 16 points, Alaves 16 points, Cadiz 14 points. Apart from Levante, who has 8 points, every other team just has 2 points difference. So just one match could alter the order on the league table. So it's still not a done and dusted thing yet as regards those that may likely face relegation, because every team, right from the 15th position, from Mallorca to Levante, will have to fight for their lives and survival in the La Liga. Look at the top scorers chart, and Karim Benzema also 15 goals. Geronimi of Betis has 11 goals. Right? Iago Aspas 10 goals. Vinicius Juniors of Real Madrid also has 10 goals. Iago Aspas is a very interesting personality. Somebody that Liverpool splashed money on, would hardly get a look in, and was discarded after one season. Went back to Spain and found his reading back. He's been consistent for Celta ever since, and last season was among the top scorers. This season again is there with 10 goals. But then, kudos to Karim Benzema, always consistent. Consistent.
I think he should be called Mr. Consistent. One thing I feel Benzema has been able to do over the years, is to sacrifice, that self-glory, for team laurels. And I think with the departure of, Cristiano Ronaldo, that actually set the tone, for us to see what Benzema can actually do as a striker. And he's been so consistent. And it's not. I don't think it was. It's actually a stroke of luck. I don't want to say it's luck, for a striker like Benzema to be at the top of the scoring chart right now. And one interesting thing as well is the fact that as he's scoring, he's also assisting. He's the top of the goal scoring chart, and top of assists as far as La Liga is concerned. So it's an interesting one that we get to see players like Benzema at this age doing what they know how to do best.
Well, so much about the Spanish La Liga, and this is where we may have to close shop as regards the league. Because like I told you earlier, we have the second part of the show where we talk, where we do a countdown to the African Cup of Nations. We look at the various groups and the teams and try to analyze how it will all pan out at the end of the day. Well, we're only able to talk about the Spanish La Liga and the Italian Serie A. But no matches in the Premier League this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. We have FA Cup matches, but a few of the postponed matches have been rescheduled. I know that West Ham will play Norwich, and Everton will also be in action. Leicester will also be in action. So those are some of the postponed matches that are now being rescheduled. But basically, it's FA Cup action in England. That's why we're not even talking about them. Just one information from German Bundesliga. Bayern Munich lost at home yesterday to Borussia Mönchengladbach. That match ended 2-1. So Borussia Mönchengladbach beat Bayern Munich 2-1 yesterday. So matches are slated across Germany this weekend, and we'll look at, just quickly go through them. RB Leipzig will play against Mainz. Bayer Leverkusen will be up against Union Berlin. Freiburg will entertain Arminia Bielefeld. Hoffenheim will be at home to Augsburg. Greuther Fürth will entertain Stuttgart. Eintracht Frankfurt will host Borussia Dortmund. Hertha Berlin tomorrow will be at home to FC Cologne, while Bochum will host Wolfsburg. So That is it for this weekend in German Bundesliga. And this is where we'll take a short break. And when we return, we will be talking about the African Cup of Nations, which starts tomorrow in Cameroon. Stay with us. League show, and like we said earlier, we'll be going straight to the AFCON to talk about AFCON as we do a countdown to the competition, which starts tomorrow in Cameroon. We'll take it group by group, looking at the various groups, at the teams that make up those groups, and what will, and try to analyze how teams will turn out at the end of these group matches. Well, we'll start with Group A, and it's comprised of Cameroon, Cape Verde, Burkina Faso, and Ethiopia. And for the opening match will be Cameroon versus Burkina Faso, while Cape Verde will also take on Ethiopia in that same group. Well, Austin is still here. Austin, we'll start with Cameroon. Cameroon, the host nation, they qualified as host. And though they still participated in the qualifiers for the World Cup, that would have served as good preparation, because I would have asked, do you think that the fact that they've not tasted action for quite a while would have affected them? But then they were wise enough to compete in the they also played the AFCON qualifiers. Actually, they played the AFCON qualifiers as well, so that was a wise decision on their part. But then they come into the competition as winners, 5-time winners. They won in 84, 88, 2000, 2002, 2017, just 4 years ago. Yeah. And they come with a rich pedigree, and they're playing at home. Is there any other indices that will work in their favor other than what in terms of pedigree they have it, home support they have it? Any that thing lacking? It's as good as this competition is for Cameroon to win.
Well, I believe they have everything in place, in regards to playing at home. The support is going to be there for them. And from what we've seen of this Cameroonian team, they've shown that they don't really need big names, to win it. As you can see, in 2017, they were able to, win the competition. Plus, Andre Onana is back. He's been part of this time, part and parcel of this Cameroonian team. They also have Anguissa, who is going to be in midfield for them, and with players like Vincent Abubakar, a veteran, when it comes to African Cup of Nations, and all in all, I believe they have everything it takes, to host the tournament, and get to win that. But in that group, I think their major challenge is going to be Cape Verde. Cape Verde, for me, have been on a steady rise. They've been able to build their reputation as far as AFCON is concerned. And they also have a Burkina Faso also played against the Super Eagles in the 2013 final, and they have a veteran Traore striking for them. But I believe overall, this Cameroonian team can actually, win the league. If there's anything that would, actually, clear our doubt about that is the fact that, they were able to qualify for the World Cup, next round qualifier. From the group where we have Ivory Coast. We talked about Ivory Coast yesterday on Grande Sports Center. With the crop of players that they have, I think it's a loaded team, and this Cameroonian team were able to, overcome that particular Ivorian team. It shows that, they are battle ready, to win the Nations Cup. And
you said Cape Verde will likely pose the greatest challenge. Yeah. Not even Burkina Faso, who they play in the first match. Yeah. Burkina Faso, talking about them, they come into the competition. I've been last played in the competition in 2017, so they missed out in the last edition. Yeah. But they were runners-up in 2013, which shows that they also have quite a good pedigree in this competition. And they come to this competition on the back of their last 21 matches, having won 10 of it, and lost only 3 matches, drawing 8. So not a bad result, if you ask me, coming into this kind of competition. So Burkina Faso, what are their chances?
Well, just like I said, it's going to be pretty much Cameroon in that group, as far as I'm concerned. It's my opinion. Cameroon being the standout team in that group, and then we have the likes of Cape Verde, who I'll say they'll be the underdog. At the same time, they'll be the dark horse as far as that group is concerned. And then you have a team like Burkina Faso with Bertrand Traore being the only dominant name, that they have in the team. But that as a team, they have what it takes to, actually, break their way out of that group. You have a chance of qualifying for that group. Malawi, is one team that, all these other teams will be looking to use as that scapegoat, that team that will be the whipping boys of the group. But at the end of the day, this is football. And even Malawi that we're talking about now can actually, surprise everybody in that group, top that group. So, but I still see Burkina Faso, in that light, talking about qualifying for the next round of the competition, at least getting to round of 16 of the competition, and that would be an impressive one, for them at the end of the day.
For Cape Verde too, they've come to this competition in a rich vein of form, especially in their World Cup qualifiers. At least Nigerians will actually remember them very well, whatever anything. And they were told, this is only their third appearance in competition. They last played it in 2015, which means that they missed the last 2 editions. So they'll be hungry for success. But then, given the way we saw them play the World Cup qualifiers, they appear to have a very good team.
Definitely. They have a good team. And just like I said, they don't have a particular big name that they rely on. So the only option they have is to play more like a team, which is, quite dangerous, and from all indication, you could see that that has actually helped them, and they've been able to build that consistency, more especially at AFCON. AFCON last season, I think they got to the quarterfinal, and that was, I think, about the best, the best they've been able to get from the AFCON so far this season. And for a team like that, coming into this game, they can actually look at it as the fact that, everybody will be looking at them as the underdog, and they want to, disprove that notion, by, proving their point and, getting to qualify out of that group at the end of the day. But I don't think you would actually doubt that fact, doubt the fact that this team is actually capable of qualifying from that group, and it remains to be seen the mode and the kind of form they'll be bringing into the Nations Cup. It's an interesting, one, an interesting proposition for most of the onlookers who will be looking to see what this team can actually do. But I assure you, this team are full of surprises, if you ask me.
Yeah, the fourth team in that group is Ethiopia. Ethiopia, this is their 11th appearance. They last appeared in 2013, so quite a long time. They've not been around. And but then they are former winners. They won in 1962 at the elite stage of the competition. And it shows that they are not very much in the wilderness when it comes to this competition.
Yeah.
They've won it, so they know what it's all about. And they come here on a good run. With the new coach, Beta Abate, was only appointed in September 2020. And in 14 matches, he has won 6, lost 5, and drawn 3. Not a bad result, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And they will be looking for success again after the 1962 win, which for me, it's been quite a long time. So they'll fancy their chances, you think so?
Well, any team that is coming into a tournament like this, in as much as sometimes that you can't actually win it, but you come with that mindset of, okay, I can actually do it. There's no thing that will be going to the tournament and you'll be telling yourself, no, I can't win it, or I can't even go to this stage. So at this point in time, they'll have that belief. Qualifying for the Nations Cup itself is actually a feat for them, as a team, and they'll be looking forward to, go a step further, making their points, telling, the rest of the continent that they are back and they can actually hold their own against, the best, countries as far as football is concerned in Africa.
So the top 2 from Group A for you?
Well, I'll go with Cameroon and Burkina Faso. Cameroon and Burkina Faso.
Not Cape Verde.
I'm not going for Cape Verde.
Okay, let's see. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
And next we'll go to Group B. And this also very interesting. We have the likes of Senegal and Zimbabwe, Guinea, and Malawi. So, evenly matched. Probably Senegal just a bit above the others. But then that's on paper.
Yeah.
But for the Senegalese, they are touted as the likely winners of the competition.
Yeah.
Do you think it will end up being that way?
Well, with what I'm seeing, I think I'm beginning to doubt that. I was one of those people that actually believe that Senegal will, they'll win this year's African Cup of Nations. But with what I'm seeing, with the way these other teams are coming, with teams like Morocco, I think teams like Morocco are preparing physically, psychologically, the way they are set up. Teams like Egypt, teams like Ivory Coast. With what I saw of Ivory Coast yesterday, I think I'm beginning to take a second look. I still want to sit down and observe, how the first round of matches, are going to look like. But that is not to say that the first round of matches will determine how a team is going to perform in the second round. But I expect it to be a tough battle. I'm not giving it outrightly to Senegal, like I actually thought, at the beginning. But right now I'm beginning to change my mind. I'm beginning to doubt, whether Senegal will be able to, step up their game. And no doubt they have a very good squad, but then it's going to be a difficult one for them, to.
Talking about this group first, let's take it one step at a time. We're talking about the tournament, but this group, as far as this group is concerned, the Senegal stand a chance.
Definitely. I think they are going to top that group, just like they did in 2019. Qualifying out of that group should not be a big deal for them, and I expect them to qualify, with what they have, for the kind of the crop of players they have. I'm not saying that group is an easy group, so to say, but I still expect them to qualify.
Likes of Zimbabwe, they also will be coming here trying to prove a point. They have been, this is their 5th appearance in the competition, so not new to the stage.
Yeah.
But then in all their previous appearances, they've been limited in the first round, the group stage.
Yeah.
Do you see this year's one being a bit different for them?
Well, I still see them, not like I want to underrate them, but they're a team that is actually on an abysmal run of form. I think the last time they won a football game was in March. I've forgotten their opponent, where they qualified for the
March
African
last
Cup
year.
March last year, which is actually abysmal if you ask me. And looking at teams like Guinea in this group, Guinea will be coming into this competition, looking to make a point. Last edition of the African Cup competition, Guinea did not do too well. They lost, I think, Naby Keita in their first game, and that actually affected them. This season they have Naby Keita in the team. The whole lot of factor. They're coming into this tournament looking to prove a point, looking to tell every other person that they can actually hold their own.
Zimbabwe,
which is
right?
I'm talking about Guinea now. Teams like Guinea, teams like Malawi. Malawi might not strike most people as that team that will qualify from that group. But when I look at the way they play, they are very, very tough, aggressive guys in that team, which might be very, very difficult for teams like Zimbabwe to take, teams like Guinea as well. So it's going to be a difficult one. But one standout team in that group for me, it's Senegal. And the way I see it, between Guinea and Malawi, I expect one of them to join. If depending on how
Between Guinea and Malawi, not even Zimbabwe.
not Zimbabwe, I don't see Zimbabwe, qualifying for that group at the end of the day.
Okay, so we'll keep our fingers crossed as usual. And in Group C, we have Morocco. Morocco will be doing battle with Ghana and Gabon and Comoros. For once, this is the first group so far that we've seen at least 3 strong teams in the group. Morocco, they were champion in 1976, and this is their 18th appearance. And when it comes to big weights in African football, they're among the big weights. So another opportunity for them to get a second trophy, talking about the African Cup of Nations. Do you see this team as being good enough to achieve that?
I think so. I think they are good enough. The way they are going at it, we all know that Morocco as a team, they don't rely heavily on the foreign-based professionals, so to say. It's all about grooming players from the home front and adding them with the few foreign players that they have. Talking about those that are playing in Europe. And this time around, they did something that shocked everybody. Hakim Ziyech was dropped out of that team. The other guy from Ajax, the right back, I've forgotten his name, was also dropped out of that team, and that actually sparked a lot of controversy at the end of the day. But they still have the likes of Hakim Ashraf, playing for the team. Generally, Morocco, I think they're a good team, and the way they are going at it, with the preparations they put in place for this tournament, I believe they are good to go. They have what it takes to actually win the tournament. If you ask me, they can actually surprise everybody by lifting the tournament. They might not have the big names as Senegal have, as Ivory Coast, the likes of Nigeria, but I know that as a team, they are hard not to crack for anybody as far as the continent is concerned.
Morocco doesn't have the big names.
Yeah.
If you ask me, the players they have are as good as what we have in the countries you just mentioned.
Yeah.
But one interesting thing is that they have a very experienced coach, Vaid Ali Ozad, who since taking over in 2019 has played 20 matches for the team, and in those 20 matches he has won 14, drawn 5, and lost only 1. And they come to the competition on the back of a 16 games unbeaten run.
Yeah.
So they are a very consistent side, if you ask me.
They're a very consistent side, and just like you said, the coach is one person that actually knows what he wants. To him, it's all about the team over every individual, and which is what he has demonstrated. And that is one quality of a coach who seems to excel. Such coaches, coaches excel because of the fact that they know what they want, and they tend to discard whoever they feel will be in the way of what they are looking to achieve. And they've been able to take a bold step. I'll call it bold step because I don't see a country like Morocco, you have such a player like Hakim Ziyech, and for whatever reason you're dropping the player for disciplinary reasons, and it's interesting. It's going to be interesting how this Morocco team can actually cope without Hakim Ziyech in the team.
Well, another big team in that group is Ghana. Ghana with 4 wins in the competition. They won in 1963, 1965, 1978, and 1982. And this is their 23rd appearance in the competition. So, Ghana, another team.
Fantastic team, Ghana. I think in recent times, things have not really gone well for them. But, they have what it takes. They can actually be the surprise package, if you ask me, with Jordan Ayew playing particularly well for them. And I think the fact that, they've won the competition 4 times, is an indication that they're not going to come into this tournament, like with that underdog mindset. They are coming into this tournament with, having it at the back of their mind that they've won this competition 4 times, and they can also do it as well. So it's going to be a tough one for these countries in the group. Talking about having Gabon, having the likes of Morocco and Ghana in the same group. It's going to be an interesting one as far as the Group C fixtures is concerned.
Interestingly, Ghana had to turn to Milovan Rajevac again to bail them out when they were in a very tight situation in the qualifiers. Yeah. Rajevac, as you know, was in charge of the team in 2010, when they narrowly missed out on qualifying for the semi-finals of the World Cup. Yeah. So he's somebody that's well known in Ghana, well respected, and he seems to be swinging the magic wand again because they are in AFCON and they are in the last qualifying stage of the World Cup as well.
Yeah, I think for me, Ghana is more of a home to Rajevac now. We're talking about Rajevac yesterday. I think I was discussing it with Blessing, how he's been in charge of the team like 2 or 3 times. I think we did mention that yesterday. And it's a testament to the good works he has done with the team. And one interesting thing about him is that, his time, he's called into the team. He has been able to actually deliver for them. And I think the Rajevac, what do I call it now, factor might also, play in the favor of Ghana as far as that group is concerned.
And one team that will actually be a big opponent for the likes of Ghana and Morocco in that group is Gabon. Gabon, they come to the competition as the best position in the competition so far in the quarterfinals, which was to achieve in 1996 and 2012. Yeah. This is their 8th appearance in the competition, and we know that on a good day, Gabon could actually be a problem for any team.
Yeah, but they are going to be without their key man, at least for the first stage of the competition. Aubameyang tested positive to coronavirus, so he might not be present for them in their first few matches. But overall, I think Gabon is a very strong team, and they can actually give the other countries in this group a run for their money, even without Aubameyang at the end of the day. So they're looking to come into this tournament to build on what they've been able to do in the past, to make sure that they write their name in the stand of time as a team. And I think for me, this could possibly be like a golden generation for them, having one of the best strikers as far as Africa is concerned, and even in the world, Aubameyang, for me, any day can actually do the work. Let's hope that if they can actually stay in the competition till the return of Aubameyang, I believe that it's going to be interesting how the Nations Cup will be for them.
The last team in that group is a very interesting one, Comoros. Their very first appearance, this is their debut in the competition. Do they stand any chance?
Well, I would not want to say they are going to be the whipping boys of that group, because, as you all know, football is no longer the way it used to be. You expect of a particular situation to go this way. At the end of the day, you see it going the other way. And in as much as I'm tempted to say they're going to be the whipping boys of that group, I would not say that. I expect them to give a good showing. If they can get a draw, in that group, to them, it's going to be an achievement. The first appearance, getting that first point will actually be important for them. But then they can actually go on a kind of fairy tale story where you get to see them qualify for the next round of the competition. Who knows? They can actually give everybody that shocker that we least expected.
One interesting thing about Comoros is their coach. Their Coach Abdul, was appointed in 2014. So this is about 7 years in charge of the team.
Yeah.
He has had a long time to work with the team.
Yeah.
And he's 42 years old. And he didn't have any prior coaching experience before he was appointed. He was coaching the 6th tier of French league. Though he stayed in France, but he was of Comoran ancestry. Anyway, he has had a very not too impressive record, but a record that you can be proud of, given the nature of Comoros as a small, tiny island, and what they've been able to achieve. Since taking over, he has recorded 10 wins and 15 draws in the matches he's played, and 14 losses. So it's a commendable one, and he seems to prefer a defensive approach, 4-4-2, two pivot defensive midfielders. I expected that. You see them coming into the competition, trying to soak in the pressure, and because it's kind of themes. Though you saw what Madagascar did the last Nations Cup. Madagascar did it very well. They tried their best, and that was their first appearance as well. So Comoros can borrow a leaf from that. So we just cannot write them off outrightly like that.
At all. You can't write them off. Just like you said, for someone who's been in charge of the team for 14 years, it shows that
7 years actually.
For 7 years, it shows that this is like a long-term project for them. I'm sure it's something that they've been working on, and coming into the tournament, with the kind of the time the manager has spent in charge of the team. I believe that could also be a factor, for them, in trying to realize, their ambitions, trying to, frustrate every other team in the competition, frustrate every other team in that group. And when you look at it, they'll be coming into this competition, coming into the group as the underdog, and the pressure might not be on them. The pressure will be on the other teams. So when you're playing against teams like this, you need to be very, very careful. And just like you said, they might want to use a negative strategy, being defensive and all.
You call it negative. It's a strategy.
It's a strategy.
It's allowed.
It's allowed. It's not out of place, to use that strategy in football. But generally, I believe this is what has worked for some of these teams that believe that we don't have the player to compete with these other opponents. So let's apply this strategy. We saw that with Stoke City at one point in England, where they had a strategy, and the strategy keeps working for them. We might actually see the same thing with this Comoros team, and who knows? They might actually surprise everybody at the end of the day.
So who is making that of this group?
Well, difficult one to predict, if you ask me. Morocco, I think, will make it out of the group, and I think Ghana as well. I'll take Morocco and Ghana as the two teams that will qualify from the group.
So Gabon will miss out.
I think Gabon will miss out.
Anyway, I'm sure there's provision for third best
loser.
Probably they could best loser. So probably they could nick it in that one. But that's just our take. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see how it turns out. So far, we've done Group A, where Austin predicted that it will be Cameroon and Burkina Faso, and in Group B, where he said it will be Senegal and Malawi, bypassing Guinea. So I'm surprised at that. But then you didn't realize Guinea was there.
No, I said it's between Malawi and Guinea.
Well, he settled for Malawi anyway, so let's leave it at that. And in Group C, Morocco and Ghana. Well, we're going to keep our fingers crossed, and we'll be taking a short break now. And when we return, we'll go over the remaining groups: Group D, Group E, and Group F. Stay with us. Welcome back, still the World League show, and we're doing a countdown to the African Cup of Nations, which starts tomorrow in Cameroon. We already looked at Group A, Group B, and Group C. We'll continue with Group D now, and here we have Egypt, Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, and Sudan. And we'll start with Egypt in this group. Egypt, winners, 7 times winners. They have the best record in the African Cup of Nations. They won in 1957, 1959, 1986, 1998, 2006, 2008, and 2010. This is their 25th appearance in the competition. And what else can we say about Egypt? And this competition, having competed in the Arab Cup, though they didn't win, they got to the semi-final. And like Nigeria, they changed their coach. So maybe a fresh standing, fresh blood, fresh insight, fresh everything into the team. So it shows of Egypt. And they have arguably the best player, one of the best players in the world at the moment in Mohamed Salah. So what are the chances that they have got?
Well, one of the favorites, if you ask me, Egypt over the years, um, they have a knack of producing players. Most of their players actually get to play in the Egyptian league, and this is one advantage that I feel they have. They have a very strong league, and they've been able to do what those other teams in Europe, who have been successful over the years, what they do. Talking about the likes of Germany, they make sure that the concentration of their players, come from let's say 2 or 3 teams. Likewise, what happened in Spain, where Barcelona and Real Madrid, were producing all the players for Spain. This is what this Egyptian team, has been known for over the years. They've dominated Africa, with that strategy, and having Salah in that particular team, kind of, gives them the advantage. Salah on his day, he's unplayable, and when you are playing in a team like this, a team like Egypt, I think Salah in that team, is an added advantage, and I still see them as one of the favorites, and they might eventually win it, if luck is on their side, because it's going to be a tough one for who will eventually emerge as the winner of this year's AFCON. It's going to be one of the most contested African Cup of Nations ever. Countries coming in with loaded squad. It's a packed competition. Personally, if you ask me, but I still see Egypt as one of the favorites.
Salah as a factor now. Messi won the World Footballer of the Year because he won Copa America. So should Egypt win the Nations Cup, would that help Salah's cause of being crowned World Footballer of the Year? Because since George Weah in 1995 or so, no African has won that award. So will Egypt winning the African Cup of Nations help Salah's cause of being crowned World Player of the Year? Even Egypt winning at the expense of Nigeria. But then, would that help his cause in any way?
Well,
because I'm just taking a leaf from some of the reasons given for why Messi actually won World Player of the Year.
Well, it depends on how these other guys are going to take it, in the sense that how did they rate African Cup of Nations. Apart from that, I think that also might help his cause. The fact that he is the key man, in Egypt, in this Egyptian national team. If he gets to play well, just like Messi did in Copa America, who knows? He might be considered for, the award. If you check the Ballon d'Or award, he was not in the top 3, but in the FIFA Best Player Award, nominee. I think the list has been shortlisted, and we have Salah in that list. 3 players: Messi, Lewandowski, Salah as well. So if he can actually perform well in this Nations Cup, I believe that will aid his cause. And Egypt, if they get to win the Nations Cup, will also add will give him that advantage as well. So I believe it will actually help his cause of becoming the world best player, if you ask me.
And now for Nigeria, they also come to the competition with a rich pedigree in the competition. This is their 19th appearance, and with 3 wins in 1980, 1994, and 2013. They also changed their coach. Could giving way for Austin Ogbonfoyin. They've not had real good training sessions, if you ask me, good preparations. Yeah. And, well, you've missed a number of key players. What are Nigeria's chances at the AFCON?
Well, I'll say of 50%. I'll give it a 50%, irrespective of the fact that we're not going to have some of our key players. Leon Balogun is not going to be there. Victor Osimhen, is not going to be there. That alone, it's a factor. It's a factor that can actually, reduce. Just like I said about, Gabon, with Aubameyang out of the team, you don't just know what to expect from the team. But then for the Super Eagles, they are still well loaded, so to say, with players like Taiwo Awoni, players like Kelechi Iheanacho, players like Chukwueze, and just to top it all up, we have Ejike, Chidera Ejike, playing very, very well, and it's going to be the surprise factor, if you ask me. He knows how to dribble very well, but one area that he needs to actually work on is his end product. If he can work on that, I believe that playing against the Super Eagles, he'll make it very, very, very difficult for opposition. When you have players like Chukwueze, who also knows how to dribble, you have Chidera Ejike, it will make most of these other teams uncomfortable, playing against Nigeria. But all I want from them is to actually work on their end product, make sure that, everything is accurate. I think it will actually increase their chance of, getting to win the African Cup of Nations.
Then Sudan comes in with good experience as well. Their ninth appearance, they are former winners as well. They won in 1970. Yeah. People have long forgotten that. But Sudan have won in 1970. And they also changed their coach and bringing in fresh impetus, bringing in fresh ideas into the team. Yeah. And they go into this group, having played in the Asian Cup, but they didn't do too well. Yeah. But again, it was valuable experience for them as well. So Sudan,
for me, at best, they are going to cause maybe an upset, probably, just like Zimbabwe. I think they also have their own downtime. I think the last time they won two was during the qualifiers, but then they had a friendly warm-up against Zimbabwe, and it was actually a 1-1 draw. And looking at that, I feel it's good preparation going into this Nations Cup. And with the way they play, I believe that if you are going to beat this Sudanese team, you need more than just having this talented bunch. You need to play more like a team. You need to have your make sure you are very, very organized, because I know that this Sudanese team can actually cause an upset against any team in that group.
Guinea-Bissau also in the group. This is their third appearance, but then in the previous two appearances they lost out in the group stage. Do you see them doing better this time?
Well, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. No disrespect. I believe coming into this game, there's a lot at stake. For the two teams. I'm talking about the two big teams in that group, Egypt and Nigeria. So looking at it, I think it's actually not fair. It won't be fair on them to actually look at them not qualifying from this group, as failing, so to say, when you have a team like Egypt and Nigeria in your group. If it were to be in another group, probably a more balanced group, so to say, I will actually give them that chance. But in this group right there, I don't think, they'll probably qualify.
This is probably the only group where we have three teams that have won the Nations Cup in the past. Yeah. Egypt has won 7 times, Nigeria 3 times. Sudan once. Look, go to Guinea-Bissau, who are just taking their third appearance. So who goes through to the next round? Who do you see surviving this group?
Well, this one is a very straightforward one. If you ask me, I'll go for Egypt and Nigeria.
Patriotism or objectivity?
I think I'm trying to be objective here as much as possible. I know Egypt, can actually beat Nigeria on their day. Likewise, Nigeria can beat Egypt as well. If you look at head-to-head between Nigeria and Egypt, I think Nigeria is ahead of them, irrespective of the fact that there was a time that we couldn't beat this Egyptian team. But the last time we met, I think it was in a friendly. A goal from Paul Onauchu, was all Nigeria needed to beat that team. So Nigeria can actually, beat any team on their day if they get to play well. If all things being equal, if things goes right for them, I believe they can actually qualify with all the maximum points, if you ask me.
And of course, Nigeria and Egypt there for you. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We go now to Group E, where we have defending champions Algeria. Algeria is there in Group E. Ivory Coast, another big heavyweight there. Sierra Leone and Equatorial Guinea complete the group. So we'll start with Algeria. Algeria coming to the competition as defending champions. They've won it twice already, in 1990 and 2019. This is their 19th appearance, just like Nigeria. And of course, they've gone 34 consecutive matches unbeaten. They just won the Asian Cup.
Yeah.
Any other credentials you need for success at the AFCON? So what are their chances?
Well, I believe their chances.
It's just like we should just hand over the trophy to Algeria.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's going to be a tough one for them. You know, unlike the last edition where it was quite easy for them. I believe this
quite easy.
I believe it was quite easy.
They played against Nigeria.
They played against Nigeria.
So that final match against Senegal. Yeah. A team that beat Nigeria. They had to overcome Senegal in the final.
Easy in the sense that, you know, from the beginning of this the tournament all to the end of the tournament, I think there was never a time where
I don't think that there's any champion that has won in global competition like African competitions easily, no matter what.
I know it's not easy to beat to actually win the AFCON, but this time around, what I'm trying to say, like this time around, we have, you know, more opposition. You know, unlike last time. You know, we have top teams playing the AFCON, but this time around, with the way Ivory Coast is coming, the way even Morocco is coming, the way Senegal is coming. Senegal will be coming into this competition with that mindset that they want to win. Last time out, they lost to Algeria, and this time around, they might not want a repeat of what happened last season. So I believe it's going to be stiffer and tougher for Algeria to actually defend their title. And that is not to say that, you know, they had it very easy, you know, the last time out, but I personally believe that it's going to be very, very hard for them this time around.
And of course, another team in that group, you just mentioned them earlier, Ivory Coast. They are coming to this competition as two-time winners, 1992, 2015, and this is their 24th appearance. Interestingly, I think it's only Egypt that has appeared more than Ivory Coast from all the countries we've seen so far. Yeah. They've been very consistent in terms of appearing in this competition. Yeah. So, what are their chances this time around? No Drogba, no Yaya Toure, no, the golden generation has actually left the stage, but then it appears we have another golden generation, given the quality of players that they are parading in this competition.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I think we're just talking about Ivory Coast just now, and I think the first serious test for Algeria will start from, you know, that group game. You know, Ivory Coast, for me, will be coming into this competition like a wounded lion. They didn't get to qualify for, you know, the next round of the World Cup qualifier. I think they'll be coming into this competition, you know, looking to make up for that. And with the quality of players they have, I believe you will not rule them out. When you look at defense, you know, they have the likes of Willy Bolly. We talked about them yesterday. Willy Bolly, Eric Bailly playing for them in defense. You also have, you know, in midfield, we have the likes of Maxwell Kone playing for Burnley. You know, Sergio Seri, you know, who is a good player, a fantastic player. You also have the likes of Kessie, you know, playing for AC Milan. And in attack is where you know, it gets interesting, you know, with a player like Sebastian Haller, you know, the player like Wilfred Zaha, you know, a player like even Nicolai Pepe. So it's going to be an interesting one, and I believe for me personally, I think Ivory Coast should be added to that list as one of the favorites to win the tournament. If you know, if there's any point in time where they were removed from that list, I think they should add them back after seeing the kind of squad they have. If they can play together as a team, I believe, you know, they can actually win the African Cup of Nations.
And of course, Sierra Leone is also in that group. They are making their third appearance. Their previous two appearances in 1994, 1996, they they couldn't get past the group stage. But then they come into this competition on the back of a controversial statement by their coach, Kester, John Kester, that he was threatened when he was about naming his squad for the competition as regarding question of some players. Would you think that such things will have a bearing on the psychology of the players coming to this competition? It may actually affect them negatively if it does, actually.
Well, it might not, in a way. Even if it's going to have any effect, I think it might be a positive one. So to say, doubting your own players, is enough motivation for these guys, to look to go out there and prove them wrong, because that is an indication that you are questioning the coach's decision, the fact that he selected these guys, and with that, know that there's doubt as regards to the players he's taking to the Nations Cup, which is somehow going to serve as a motivation for them. Looking at it, these guys will be going in, to make sure that they prove, their critics wrong, and that for me might have a negative, a positive impact on the team at the end of the day. But it's going to be a difficult one for them, playing in a group that has Algeria and Ivory Coast. So I'll keep my fingers crossed. Let's see how they're going to perform in this Nations Cup.
Equatorial Guinea is also in that group. This is their third appearance, and the last appearance was in 2015 when they hosted, and they won, and they got to the fourth place. Got fourth position in that competition. Yeah. So speak volume of how good they are, and they come into this competition on the back of very impressive run. They've won in the last matches 6 wins, and 2 losses, and then 2 draws. So this is a team that is in good form, if you ask me. Yeah,
I think it's a good, impressive result for Equatorial Guinea. 6 wins. It's not easy to come by, and playing in the African Cup of Nations as well. It shows that their profile is actually rising, and one of those teams to look out for. They might not qualify from this group, but I'm very sure that they're going to give a good performance. It's going to be a good outing for them overall, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they perform in this group.
So who survived this group?
Algeria and Ivory Coast.
What about then? The others could actually seek if they could be one of the best losers, right?
They can actually seek to qualify as one of the best losers.
Okay, we'll continue to keep our fingers crossed. And to the final group, which is Group F. And this group has Tunisia, Mali, Gambia, and Mauritania. Would this be the weakest group? Anyway, we'll start with Tunisia. Tunisia seems to be the more illustrious of all the teams in this group.
Yes.
They won the competition in 2004, and this is their 20th appearance in the competition so far. And they have a very good record. Their clubs have a very good record on the continent, just like Egyptian clubs. But then they also have a good area of foreign-based players as well. And they come into this competition as one of the top-ranked African teams. So what are their chances?
Well, just like last time, they have a very good chance of making it as far as the final. I think the last time as well, they played in the semi-finals, lost to Senegal, played in the third place match against Nigeria, where they lost to Nigeria as well. And it's going to be interesting. Looking at Tunisia, there will always be that team that, they are just there. You can't just, shelve them aside. When you look at the team, pretty much like the Egyptian team, overly reliant on, these homegrown guys, which is actually one thing that is, that has kept them, as one of the top-ranked team in Africa. And going into this competition, you will not want to rule them out, completely. They still have experienced guys like Omar, Ranik. We have Sliti as well, who has always been part of the team. We have the likes of Ben Silmani, who plays for Brøndby of Denmark. And then Yusuf Saki of Al Arabi of Qatar. These guys are pretty much, the old guys. They've always been, there for the team, and which is something I believe makes this team one of the favorites. When you still have a crop of your players who has always been part of the team playing, and then with mixed with these other younger guys coming into the team. Talking about the guy from Arsenal, Kambi, coming from Arsenal, is still a young lad. He's not even breaking into that Arsenal team. So it's going to be interesting how this Tunisia team will play at this African Cup of Nations.
Mali is also in that group. This is their 12th appearance. Talk about Mali, and their best result has been runner-up finish. They were runner-up in 1972 and played in the finals. And they come to this competition on a good, comprising, they have a team that is a mixture of youths and experienced players, because as you know, they have a very good record in the age group competition. So yes, they've been able to graduate some of those young players into the national team. So probably they may be feeling one of the youngest teams in the competition. But then Mali, what are their chances?
Well, I'll regard them as one of those teams that'll be the dark horse of the competition. I expect them to go far in the competition, and it's going to be interesting how they're going to navigate their way with Tunisia in the group. But then, just like you said, the crop of young players, pretty much from different leagues in the world, coming together. Players like Moussa Djenekpo of Southampton in England. You have Kafa Koulibaly of Nantes in France. Like guys like Adama Noza Traore of Hazorspor in Turkey. These guys are pretty much.
Ibsen Bissouma is back in the team. He stopped playing for the national team for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Talk about Brighton midfielder Ibsen Bissouma, who's been in the radar of clubs like Liverpool and most of the teams in Premiership.
Yeah.
He's back in the team.
Yeah, I think that one too is actually added bonus for them. The fact that is now playing for the team. Apart from that, you have players like Musa Sissoko of Standard Liège, are playing for the team. So generally, it's a loaded squad, and I expect them to give any team at all, be it Egypt, be it Nigeria, I expect them to give them a run for their money.
Gambia is there as well. They made their first appearance last time in 2019. They are back again. And in terms of Simfrit, they have a coach that is very experienced on the African continent. Yeah. At one point, he was being one of the coaches that was interested in Nigerian job, but somebody didn't get it. So he's in charge of Gambia. He has won 10 of his 23 matches in charge, but then successfully plotted a qualifying campaign ahead of bigger and more established teams like Gabon. So they came out tops in their qualifying group. That speaks volume of how good they are. So Gambia, what do we expect from them?
Well, it's going to be interesting. If they can actually come out top of their qualifying group, it means that this is a team that everybody should be wary of. They are going to give any team a run for their money as far as that group is concerned, and it means it's going to be a tough one for all the teams in that group. Be it Tunisia, be it Mali, and might have one or two upset in this group.
And of course, the last team in that group is Mauritania, also making their second appearance. They were there in 2019 last time, but could not get past the group stage. Yeah. Would they be able to do better this time around?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be pretty much, Gambia, Mali, Tunisia at the end of the day, jostling for who is going to qualify as the top or on top of the group. And I see Mauritania actually, giving it a try out, making sure that they have a good outing, at the end of the day. So, a difficult one for Mauritania. It's going to be a difficult group, for them to actually navigate their way out of it.
No matter how it turns out for Mauritania, it's on record that they have the youngest player in the competition in Bayat Lekwere. He's been 16-year-old. He is. Yeah. He plays in Senegal. For Senegalese side, AS Douanes. So he's been playing the side. So he's the youngest man in the competition. So at least they have that record already. Whatever it no matter how things turn out for Mauritania in the competition, it will be recorded that for the 2022 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon, Mauritania are the youngest player in Bayet Lequeri. Well, that's it on all the groups. We've exhausted it, but we've not told us who we go through from this group.
I'll go for Mali and Tunisia. Gambia might, eventually qualify as one of those, best losers. I'm looking forward to them.
Yes, and they would keep our fingers crossed on that. Those are just our own predictions. Actual action starts tomorrow, so we'll begin to see if some of the things we've said here will actually play out when the action actually commences. So, thank you for joining us on the show today. It's been a special edition of the World League Show. We used the first part to talk about the leagues, and now in the second part just to do justice to the Cup of Nations as a sign of the fact that our own competition, the Cup of Nations, deserve all the respect it gets, no matter insinuations from different quarters from other parts of the world. Cup of Nations is a top flight quality competition, the flashy competition of the African continent, and we hope that the best of football will be on show beginning from tomorrow in Cameroon. This is where we drop anchor the program for today. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank Austinus Arumel has been part of the show, talking us all through the league and also analyzing the various groups in the AFCON. Also, I want to thank the production crew who have done a wonderful job in the last 2 hours. I'm Donald Agbavobo. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Damn.
Yes, yeah,